Have you ever felt that surge deep in your spirit when you know God has just whispered something to you? Not an ordinary thought, not a casual idea, but a divine seed planted in the soil of your heart, carrying the power to change your life and maybe even the lives of many others. In that moment, your heart beats faster. You see it, you feel it, you know it's real. And yet a voice within warns you, don't rush to tell everyone. You see, the greatest battles aren't always fought after the dream is visible. They're often fought in the invisible stage, right after the seed is planted. And one of the quickest ways to lose the battle is to hand your seed over to someone who's not ready, not called, or not assigned to carry it with you. When God gives you a vision, He gives it to you. Not to your friends, not to your co-workers, not even to your closest family members. He entrusts it to you because He knows you are the one equipped to nurture it, protect it, and carry it to completion. That vision is like a newborn, precious, fragile, and full of potential. And just as you wouldn't leave a newborn out in the cold for strangers to handle, you can't expose your vision to an environment that isn't ready to support it. Think about Mary, the mother of Jesus. When the angel appeared to her and told her she would carry the Savior, she didn't run to the village shouting her story to everyone. She pondered it in her heart. She guarded it. Why? Because she knew this was something holy, something that required time to grow before it could be revealed. Guarding your vision means understanding that not everyone can see what you see. It's not that they're bad people. It's just that they weren't there when God spoke to you. They didn't hear what you heard. They didn't feel the stirring in your soul. And because of that, their perspective will always be limited. If you share too soon, you risk allowing their doubt to overshadow your faith. People often project their own limitations onto others. If they can't imagine themselves doing it, they'll tell you it can't be done. If they failed at something similar, they might assume you will too. And sometimes, it's not even malice, it's just human nature. But if you're not careful, their words can become like heavy weights tied to the wings of your vision, pulling it down before it ever has the chance to soar. Guarding your vision also means being selective with your circle. Every farmer knows that not all soil is good soil. Some soil is rocky, some is shallow, some is filled with thorns. If you plant a seed in the wrong soil, no matter how much you water it, it won't grow the way it should. Your vision needs the right atmosphere, a place of faith, encouragement, and prayer. That's why it's better to share with one or two trusted, faith-filled people than to broadcast your plans to 100 casual listeners. This isn't about fear, it's about wisdom. Even Jesus, during His ministry, often withdrew from the crowds. He chose moments of privacy to pray, to prepare, and to hear from the Father. There's a reason He didn't reveal everything at once. Timing matters. Protection matters. Preparation matters. When you guard your vision, you give it the space to develop. A tree doesn't bear fruit the same day it's planted. There's a season of rooting when everything important is happening underground, unseen. During this time, the roots grow deep enough to support the weight of what's coming. In the same way, your vision must grow in the hidden place before it can handle the weight of success, responsibility, and impact. Sometimes the enemy isn't trying to destroy your vision outright. He's simply trying to weaken it before it's ready. That's why distractions, criticism, and premature exposure can be so dangerous. Guarding your vision is your shield against those attacks. And here's the truth: when the time is right, you won't have to fight to make people see it. The fruit will speak for itself. But until then, protect it like the treasure it is. Hold it close. Feed it with faith. Water it with prayer. Keep it in the light of God's Word. And above all, trust that the one who gave you the vision will also give you the timing for its unveiling. The vision in your heart is like a delicate flame. It burns bright, but it also needs protection from the winds that can blow it out. And one of the greatest winds that can either fan the flame or extinguish it is the power of words. Words are not just sounds we make. They are containers. They carry faith or fear, life or death, strength or weakness. From the very beginning of creation, God showed us the power of words. He didn't build the world with His hands. He spoke it into being. Let there be light. And light broke through the darkness. If the God who created the heavens and the earth used words to shape reality, we must never underestimate what our own words can do. When you talk about your vision, your calling, or your God-given assignment, you are shaping its atmosphere with your words. If you speak life over it, you strengthen it. If you speak doubt, you weaken it. That's why we have to be careful not only about what we say to others, but also what we say to ourselves. Many people sabotage their own destiny by the words they speak over their future. They say things like, "I don't know if I can do this," or "maybe it's not meant for me." Every time they speak like that, it's like watering weeds instead of watering the seed God planted. And here's the truth: what you water will grow. If you water fear, fear will grow. If you water faith, faith will grow. But it's not just your words that matter. The words others speak to you can also have power if you let them. That's why you can't afford to throw your vision into conversations carelessly. When you share your plans with someone, you are giving them an opportunity to speak into them. And not everyone has the faith to match your vision. Some will speak encouragement, but others will speak doubt. And if you're not spiritually grounded, their doubt can begin to sound like truth. Think of it this way: your vision is like a fresh loaf of bread rising in the oven. The right heat will make it expand beautifully, but if you open the oven door too soon and let in the wrong temperature, you can cause it to collapse. Words work the same way. The wrong words spoken at the wrong time can flatten the very thing you're trying to grow. Choosing your words wisely means you speak from a place of faith, not fear. It means you align your mouth with what God has promised, not with what the enemy is trying to make you believe. It means you declare what will be, not just what is right now. Proverbs 18:21 tells us, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit." That means what you say today is the fruit you will taste tomorrow. So if you want a harvest of victory, you need to sow words of victory. Sometimes the wisest thing you can say about your vision is nothing at all. Silence can be a shield. It gives you time to pray over your plans before presenting them. It allows you to let the dream grow strong enough to withstand outside voices. And when you do speak, let it be intentional. Let it be words that align with the outcome you're believing for. Your vision is too precious to be tossed into careless conversations. Your assignment is too important to be surrounded by idle chatter. Every word is a seed, and the seeds you plant will determine the future you walk into. If you'd like, I can now move to point 3. Avoid the seed killers and give it the same depth and emotional drive so the full speech keeps building momentum. Every vision, every calling, every God-given dream starts as a seed. And just like any seed, it's vulnerable in the early stages. Before it grows strong enough to stand on its own, it needs protection, because there are forces, both seen and unseen, that will try to destroy it before it ever has a chance to bear fruit. Seed killers come in many forms. Sometimes they are circumstances, sometimes they are people, and sometimes, if we're honest, they're the thoughts and habits within ourselves. And here's the sobering truth: the enemy often doesn't need to attack the harvest if he can destroy the seed. If he can get to it early, before it's deeply rooted, he can stop the entire future it carries. One of the most common seed killers is criticism. Not all criticism is meant to help you grow. Some is meant to tear you down, to chip away at your confidence, to make you question whether you heard from God at all. You may hear things like, "That's impossible," or "Who do you think you are?" Those words may seem small at first, but they are like insects that gnaw away at the seed's protective shell. If you allow them in, they can weaken the dream before it ever takes root. Another seed killer is comparison. When you look at what others are doing, how fast they're progressing, or how much recognition they're receiving, you risk uprooting your own seed to see if it's growing as quickly as theirs. But no seed thrives when it's constantly being dug up. Your vision has its own timeline, its own process, its own season. Comparing it to someone else's journey is like pulling up a sprouting plant just to measure it. In doing so, you harm what could have been. Then there's fear and doubt. These are perhaps the most destructive seed killers of all, because they come from within. You might start strong, believing in the promise God gave you. But the moment obstacles arise, fear begins to whisper. What if this doesn't work? What if I fail? What if I'm not enough? Doubt begins to water those whispers until they sound louder than God's voice. If left unchecked, fear and doubt will choke the life out of your vision before it ever blossoms. And sometimes seed killers come disguised as good intentions. Well-meaning people may give you advice that sounds wise but is rooted in their own limitations, not God's truth. They might tell you to play it safe, to wait for the perfect moment, or to be realistic. But faith rarely fits within the boundaries of human logic. If you listen to the wrong counsel, you can delay or even derail what God is trying to do in your life. So how do you protect your seed from the killers? you create boundaries. You learn to guard your conversations, your thoughts, and your environment. You surround yourself with people who speak life, not death. You fill your mind with the Word of God instead of the noise of negativity. You learn to recognize the difference between constructive guidance and destructive criticism. A farmer doesn't leave a valuable crop unprotected in a field full of predators. He builds a fence. He keeps watch. He ensures the seed has what it needs to grow without being consumed. In the same way, you must be intentional about creating a protective space for your dream. That might mean limiting who has access to your plans. It might mean spending more time in prayer and less time scrolling through distractions. It might mean saying no to certain voices, even if they're familiar ones. The reality is, your seed can survive only if it's nurtured and defended. The early stages are the most dangerous because everything about your vision is still forming. If you keep the seed safe during this stage, it will grow strong enough to withstand storms later. But if you allow the seed killers in too early, you may never see the harvest God intended for you. Every great move of God begins in a place where no one is watching. The spotlight does not shine on the preparation stage, and yet it is in that hidden place where your strength is forged, your character is refined, and your faith is tested. Too many people crave the stage without enduring the secret place, but without private preparation, public power cannot last. Think about David before he faced Goliath. The world saw a shepherd boy suddenly rise to defeat a giant, but what they didn't see were the countless hours he spent alone in the fields, defending the sheep from lions and bears, playing his harp before God, and learning to hear His voice. That victory didn't happen in a moment. It was the product of years of preparation away from human applause. In private, you are stripped of the desire to impress and forced to focus on becoming. This is where God teaches you the skills, the discipline, and the spiritual depth you'll need to carry the weight of your calling. It's in the secret hours of prayer when you learn His voice. It's in the quiet moments of study that you gain the wisdom you'll later speak with authority. Private preparation is often lonely because the work is invisible to others. You might be building, learning, praying, and fasting without anyone acknowledging it, and that can be discouraging, especially in a world where people want quick recognition and instant results. But understand this: God is not ignoring you. He's hiding you. Hiding is not rejection, it is protection. He is keeping you safe from premature exposure until you are strong enough to stand where He is taking you. We often want the harvest without the planting season, the platform without the process, but the process is what ensures we can handle the platform. Imagine giving a powerful weapon to a soldier who hasn't been trained. Instead of victory, that weapon could bring destruction. In the same way, God will never give you a public assignment you are not privately prepared to carry. Your private preparation builds roots. Without roots, the tallest tree will topple in the first storm. Roots grow downward long before branches stretch upward. That means your character must be deep before your influence is wide. It's easy to impress people with talent, but only integrity, humility, and discipline, forged in private, can keep you standing when challenges come. Preparation in private also purifies motives. When no one is watching, you can't perform for applause. You are left face to face with God, and in that place, He tests why you want what you want. Is it for your glory or His? If the motives are wrong, the preparation process will strip away pride and self-promotion until only a pure desire to serve remains. The danger of skipping private preparation is that public opportunity will reveal what private time failed to build. Many people rise quickly because of their talent, but fall just as quickly because of their lack of foundation. Skill can open a door, but only character can keep it open. Don't despise your hidden season. It's not wasted. It's not a delay. It's where God is equipping you with unseen strength. It's where He is sharpening your spiritual weapons, training your ears to hear His whisper, and molding your heart to beat in rhythm with His will. And when the day comes for you to step into the public eye, people may marvel at how prepared you are. But you will know the truth. The victory was won in the secret place long before it was celebrated in the open. There is a power in silence that many people overlook. We live in a world where everyone is quick to post, quick to announce, quick to prove they are doing something. But silence is not weakness. It's strategy. It's a shield that protects your peace, your focus, and your God-given vision from unnecessary attacks. When you keep certain things to yourself, you reduce the number of doors the enemy can walk through. Every time you speak, you give access, not just to those who support you, but also to those who doubt you, envy you, or misunderstand you. Silence keeps your vision safe from premature opinions. It creates a space where you can work, pray, and grow without interference. Think of Nehemiah when he went to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. He didn't arrive and start telling everyone his full plan. Scripture says he inspected the walls at night, quietly, without telling anyone what God had put in his heart to do. Why? Because he understood that the fewer people knew in the early stages, the less opposition could rise before he was ready to act. Silence is a shield against distraction. When you talk too much about your plans, you invite endless conversations, questions, and sometimes criticism that can pull your energy away from the actual work. The enemy doesn't always need to stop you outright. Sometimes he just needs to drain you with unnecessary dialogue until your focus fades. But when you remain quiet, you keep your strength centered on the task God has assigned to you. Silence also protects you from discouragement. Not everyone is equipped to handle the weight of your calling. Some people, without meaning harm, will speak from their own fears and failures. If you're still in the tender, early stages of building something, their words can sink deep and create doubt in your mind. By choosing silence, you give your vision time to take root before exposing it to storms of opinion. Another thing silence does is keep you from speaking against yourself. Sometimes we can be our own biggest critic. In moments of frustration or delay, we're tempted to speak words of doubt. Maybe this isn't working, maybe I'm not good enough. Those words carry weight, and once spoken, they have a way of reinforcing the very fears we're trying to overcome. Practicing silence in those moments gives you time to align your heart and mouth with God's truth before you say something that could damage your own faith. Silence is not inactivity. It is not sitting back and doing nothing. It is actively working, actively praying, actively moving forward without broadcasting every step. It's a shield because it allows you to build strength in private. And when the time is right, your results will speak louder than any announcement could. Look at Jesus. There were miracles he performed and moments of revelation he shared only with a select few. He often told people not to spread the news before the appointed time. Why? Because timing matters, and sometimes the impact of what you're doing is greater when revealed at the right moment. Silence also guards you from pride. When you speak too soon about what you're building, it can become more about proving something to others than fulfilling God's purpose. Keeping quiet allows your motive to stay pure. You're not doing it for applause. You're doing it because it's what you've been called to do. In a noisy world, silence can feel uncomfortable, but it's in the quiet where God's voice becomes clearest. It's in the hidden place that your vision gains the strength it needs to face the public eye. And the beauty of silence is this: when the season of hiding is over, there will be nothing anyone can say to deny what God has done through you. There comes a time when you no longer need to explain yourself, defend yourself, or try to convince people that you are called to do what you're doing. The evidence will speak for you. Your results will become your testimony. When God's hand is on your life, you don't have to argue with critics or chase validation. The fruit will reveal the root. We live in an age where people are quick to announce everything. They post their plans before they've even begun, declare success before they've put in the work, and seek recognition before they've proven anything. But true authority doesn't come from talking about what you will do. It comes from actually doing it. Words may inspire for a moment, but results inspire for a lifetime. Results carry a weight that words can't match. You can tell people you're building something, but when they see it standing strong, their opinions shift. You can say God called you to a certain path, but when they witness the transformation in your life and the lives you've touched, they can no longer deny it. Results have a way of silencing doubt and shutting down opposition without you ever having to open your mouth. Think about Noah. When God told him to build the ark, the people mocked him. They questioned his sanity. They called him foolish for working on something they couldn't understand. But Noah didn't spend his time trying to win them over with debates or explanations. He kept building. And when the rain began to fall, the ark became the undeniable proof of his obedience in God's word. The danger of trying to prove yourself too soon is that you waste energy on the wrong battle. Instead of pouring your strength into the work, you pour it into defending your work. And while you're busy arguing, the actual progress slows down. But when you keep moving, when you keep working in silence, you give the results the chance to speak on your behalf. Results are powerful because they are tangible. People may dismiss your vision as a dream, but they cannot dismiss the reality of what is in front of them. A restored marriage, a thriving business, a ministry that changes lives. These are living testimonies. They cannot be argued away. Letting your results speak for you also keeps you humble. It shifts the focus from trying to impress people to simply obeying God. Your goal is no longer to prove them wrong, but to fulfill your assignment. And when the results finally appear, it's not about rubbing it in anyone's face. It's about pointing to the one who made it possible. This mindset also protects you from discouragement when people don't immediately believe in you. If your validation comes from their approval, you'll be crushed when they doubt you. But if your validation comes from obedience to God, their doubt won't derail you, because you know the results will speak in due time. And here's the beautiful part: when your results begin to show, you don't even have to tell your story. People will ask. They will want to know how you did it, where the strength came from, and what kept you going. In that moment, you'll have the opportunity to share your journey from a place of authority, because you didn't just talk about it, you lived it. So keep your hands on the work and your heart focused on the assignment. Don't get distracted by the need to explain yourself. When the harvest comes, it will speak in a voice louder and clearer than any announcement you could make. And those who doubted will have no choice but to see the truth for themselves. One of the hardest lessons for a dreamer, a visionary, or anyone with a God-given assignment is learning to wait for the right time to reveal it. When God places something in your spirit, the excitement can be overwhelming. You want to share it with the world. Let everyone see what He has spoken and start the journey immediately. But the truth is, every vision has an appointed time, and moving ahead of that time can be just as dangerous as never moving at all. Ecclesiastes 3 reminds us that to everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under the heaven. That means there is not only a right thing to do, but also a right time to do it. The timing of revelation matters because the success of your calling depends not only on obedience, but on alignment with God's divine schedule. Think about a piece of fruit. If you pick it too early, it will be sour and hard. If you wait too long, it may rot on the branch. But when picked at just the right time, it's sweet, nourishing, and ready to serve its purpose. Your vision is the same way. If you reveal it too soon, before the necessary preparation has been done, it might not survive the challenges ahead. But if you trust God's timing, you'll find that when the vision is finally revealed, it will be strong enough to endure and fruitful enough to bless others. Trusting God's timing often means resisting pressure, both external and internal. External pressure comes from people who want to know what you're doing, when you're doing it, and why you're not moving faster. Internal pressure comes from your own impatience, the feeling that you're falling behind or missing opportunities. But here's the truth: you can never be late for something God has appointed. If He set the date, nothing and no one can move it forward or backward without His permission. Joseph's life is a testimony to this principle. God gave him dreams of leadership and influence as a young man, but the fulfillment didn't come until years later, after betrayal, slavery, and prison. If Joseph had tried to force his way into leadership before the appointed time, he wouldn't have been prepared for the responsibility. But because he waited, because he endured the process, he stepped into his role at the exact moment Egypt needed him most. Waiting on God's timing is not passive. It's not sitting still, doing nothing and hoping something will happen. It's active preparation. It's using the waiting season to grow in wisdom, strengthen your skills, and deepen your faith. It's trusting that the one who gave you the vision is also arranging the circumstances, the connections, and the opportunities for it to be fulfilled. Another reason timing matters is protection. Sometimes God delays the revelation of your vision because revealing it too soon would expose you to attacks you're not yet ready to handle. He hides you not to punish you, but to preserve you. In the hidden place, He builds your spiritual muscles so that when the moment of unveiling comes, you can stand firm no matter what comes against you. The challenge is that God's timing rarely matches our own. We think in days and weeks. He thinks in years and generations. We want the comfort of certainty, but He calls us to walk by faith. Trusting His timing requires surrender, letting go of your own calendar and embracing His. It's a daily choice to believe that He knows what you don't, sees what you can't, and is working for your good even when you don't understand the delay. When the appointed time comes, it will not be by your striving, manipulation, or pushing. It will be by His hand alone. And when that moment arrives, there will be no struggle to make it happen. Doors will open, favor will flow, and the vision will stand as living proof that God's timing is always perfect. The vision God has placed in your heart is no accident. It is not random. It is not small. It is heaven's assignment wrapped in your hands, waiting to unfold in its appointed time. But how you handle it will determine whether it thrives or withers. You must guard it like a treasure, speak life into it with every word, protect it from seed killers that try to choke it out, and embrace the private preparation that will give it public strength. You must learn the wisdom of silence, letting your results speak for themselves, and most importantly, you must trust the timing of the one who gave it to you in the first place. There will be days when the urge to prove yourself is strong. Days when you want to shout your plans to the world just to feel validated. Days when criticism cuts deep and delays feel unbearable. But in those moments, remember, the God who whispered the vision into your heart is also the God who will bring it to pass. You are not racing against time. You are walking in step with the author of time. So build in the secret place, pray in the quiet, work with focus, and when the day of unveiling comes, you won't have to say a word. The fruit of your obedience will be the loudest testimony of all. Until then, hold fast to the vision, keep your eyes on Him, and move forward with the unshakable confidence that what God starts, He finishes.